So next up, we have Gryphon's tea, which it started in 2011 at the Pittsburgh Public Market. And right now it's on Butler Street in Lawrenceville. And Diana Stoughton's going to join us today, talking about different kinds of tea and talking about something called dirty tea, which I was not familiar with, but I'm very curious about. So up next, Diana.
Hi, I'm hoping everybody can see and hear me. Yes, we're all good. Hello?
Can you speak? I think the volume could be a little bit louder, Diana.
How's that? Better?
There you are.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Better?
A little bit louder?
So, a little louder?
Yes.
I think that's all I've got. Let me bring you a little closer.
Okay.
I can also speak up if that works better. Is that okay?
Good.
Okay. Hi, so I'm Diana. I am the owner of Gryphon's Tea, and the short history of Gryphon's is my son, one time when I said I wanted to open a coffee shop, said, "Mom, we all drink tea." Hi, Sam. I remember going to your classes and learning everything that I could about coffee at the time. We ended up going with a tea shop that we were in the Pittsburgh Public Market for 2 years. And when the market moved, we sort of migrated to Butler Street. But we have been in Bloomfield now for 2.5 years. So we are right on the main drag, right next to Donatelli's, across from the big church on Liberty Avenue. For those of us that are still looking to say, hey, where did that tea shop go? We moved up here because we have 3 times the space, and now we can do a lot more blending and a lot more creating of our own tea products. In the meantime, we had met a guy named Steve Moore who worked for Arbuckle's many years ago. And Steve had a place at the public market called Brown Dog Java. And Steve and I were always talking about different coffees and teas because I'm a fan of both. I don't think there should be a separation between the coffee people and the tea people. A lot of us get up in the morning, we have a nice cup of coffee, and toward the afternoon, we might want a little less caffeine, or around bedtime, maybe we want a nice herbal or a rooibos. So we've been fans of both, and for a long time, Steve and I have talked about how to make coffees that have more flavor in them, but are not artificially flavored or oiled or whatever like that. So we started playing with a few things, and we came up with what we call Java Cha, so coffee and tea blended together. And the 3 things that we have created right now are these products that we call Java Chai. We also have Bourbon Street, and we also have Fourth River. So Java Chai is a combination of a medium dark roast coffee. It's a high-grown Central American and North American coffee that we selected for its bold flavor because you're going to have a blend of coffee and tea in this. So we started off with this lovely coffee right here that we're having roasted locally for us. And it has a really nice chocolatey note that gives it a base. But because it also has in it all of these other ingredients, which are things like 2 kinds of cinnamon, allspice, cloves, and this vanilla tea blend that we have here, it's going to have a lighter mouthfeel, and it's also going to be a little bit more delicate. So we've been sticking with the French roast for pretty much all of our blends while we design these coffee tea blends. So what you're looking at right here is actually the Java Chai. And it has all of our masala chai spices and a few extra things thrown in. And then we grind it up in a medium coarse grind so that you can brew it like coffee or like tea. So our 2 options for doing this are either in a French roast, and this has been steeping for about 5 minutes. So as you can see, it's a little lighter than your average coffee, but the cinnamons and the gingers have really popped forward. So when you first begin to drink this product, you have a really nice, tangy chai flavor, the spices, and the mouth on the end is that coffee that's just kind of hanging on. It's a wonderful coffee. It's sort of on the rich side. It's got a really a little bit of a oh God, Sam, what did you call it? Where it's got a little astringency because both the coffee and the tea have been ground. The fun thing about dirty teas are that tea has something in it called L-theanine. And L-theanine is a bit of a sedative. It also slows the absorption of the caffeine. So whenever you're drinking tea, anything from matcha all the way down to a lighter Ceylon tea or a green tea, that absorption is kind of evened out. So when you're drinking a java chai, you get that caffeine level, but it just kind of hangs on a little longer and you don't spike as much because of the L-theanine. And in addition, you have all of those antioxidants and polyphenols. So we think it's got all of the best of both worlds in that it's got great flavor options. And it's also something that may not have quite as much caffeine as the coffee until you get into the matcha. So we really love being able to do things like this, and we're going to continue to put together a few more combinations. Bourbon Street is actually based on my trip to New Orleans. I know this is backwards, sorry. And so it has in it tea and coffee, chicory, dandelion root, and cacao husks. So it really enhances that chocolate note that the coffee has. And again, it's going to be a lighter cup than a regular cup of coffee, but it's much more complex and interesting because there's so many other elements on it, and we balance them really nicely. So this is a fun one as well. The last one we call Fourth River, and that is based on the idea that Pittsburgh has a hidden, dark Fourth River, and that it's under the city, and it's rich and deep. So we have taken our coffee and we have added to Lapsang Souchong, which is a smoked black tea, and we've added cardamom pods and seeds. So it has this lovely Middle Easterny kind of spice going on in it, as well as the coffee and the tea together. And the Lapsang really brings more body to the cup itself. So it isn't nearly as diluted as you might feel any of these other blends are. So if you're looking for something rich and dark, the Fourth River would be the way for you to go. Any questions so far? So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of fun things that we have done in the shop. So in light of this wonderful coffee that we have here, this chai, we're going to put a little in a cup for you, and we're going to show you how to make a dirty tea with matcha. And the fun thing about this is we already have tea in this cup. This is our chai, and we are going to put into that matcha. So this is a ceremonial grade matcha. Now you might sometimes use a grade of matcha that is for smoothies, but in this particular case, since you're going to have it floating in milk, and we've used almond milk, it's go ahead and use the higher grade because you're going to get a nice lighter, grassier, sweeter cup of matcha. So the matcha latte that we're going to float on top of this, we took our lovely little steamer, which I think these things are fabulous for foaming milk. They also make your matcha the right temperature. These go up to 140 degrees. You want to bloom your matcha with some heat. You don't want to just dump matcha into a smoothie because you're not getting all the flavor without warming it up a little bit. And so this does it simultaneously. I put 2 ounces of almond milk in here, and then I just went ahead and frothed it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pour it on top of, and if it was frothier, it would have another layer, but we've been waiting a little while. So we're just going to take a little bit of the foam and lay it on the top for you so you get the idea. And when you froth your milk, this is going to be creamier when you do it yourself, but it's going to give you this lovely matcha layer on top. So that is definitely a dirty chai or a dirty coffee, depending on what your preference is. And don't be afraid to just go a little bit crazy. Take a little bit more of the matcha and sprinkle it on top. So the fun thing about matcha is you are drinking the entire leaf. This is all the polyphenols, all the caffeine, all of the antioxidants. You're not just steeping tea, you're actually drinking the leaf. And therefore, you're getting a very nice buzz on here, but you're also getting wonderful complexity and flavors in that rich coffee spice blend is underneath, and that lovely grassy creamy top. So this is a beautiful cup of dirty tea that you can enjoy at home very simply. And last but not least, I don't know if any of you have been enjoying the, it's called Dalgona or Dalgona, people who like those creamed coffees. Well, we've made it here, but what we've also done is we have cold steamed. So this is our cold steeped bourbon street. We have taken whole milk and we have put it overnight with a bag of coffee or Java cha in it. And so here you have your bag of tea in here. We use these bags right here. They're a nice oxygen bleached brown bag. They're paper bag. There's no carcinogens or anything weird in them. We take this and we put it right in the milk and let it sit overnight. So you can use this all week long. You put this in the bottom of your cup. And I don't know if anybody else has had the pleasure of making this wonderful thing. This is exactly the same amount. It is 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of instant coffee, and 2 tablespoons of hot water. You put this in your measuring cup and you use a mixer. It takes no more than a minute. And you have this beautiful foamy coffee that you can then float on top of your drink. And this is really nice iced. So here you have our Java chai in the bottom, right there. Hello. And then this sits right on the top. It is a sweet dessert drink that is really, really yummy. It has a little bit of a bitter note because you've got all of that instant coffee sitting on top of it, but this is a really big bump. And I like to drink this with a straw. So you just stir it up a little bit and the beautiful coffee notes, the spices, and this floating, foamy, airy cloud on top of it. Oh, it'll get you going in the morning. So yes, combining teas and coffees are kind of our new thing. And if anybody has any questions, we have a website and our email, and I love people asking questions. So please, your turn.
Yes, we have several questions. People would really like that recipe. So maybe we can get the recipes in chat. We can also maybe include them in Next Pittsburgh. Although we're recording this whole thing, so everyone will have a chance to go back and look at it.
I talk fast, sorry.
Oh, it was great, Diane. They look really good. And I'm headed to Bloomfield right now. They look, it looks great. So we have just a minute, but for those of us, unlike the person you described, I drink coffee in the morning and then I switch to tea during the day. And then at 4 o'clock, I have another cup of coffee. I'm very balanced like that. But some of the things I look for in tea at night, if I'm getting ready to go to sleep and I'm kind of wired, I might drink a tea that relaxes, or during the day, I might drink a tea with some caffeine. Can you talk a little bit about different kinds of tea and how they can really benefit us during the day with that kind of thing, and also maybe some health benefits?
Yeah, so tea is all one product. This is my instruction manual I like to show people. It's all the same product. There are 3,000 different kinds of teas that are made. It's all about how they're processed, how they're fermented and oxidized. And at different portions of their processing, they have more or less caffeine and more or less of all of the health benefits. So when people say you want to drink maybe a green tea, it's because it has more antioxidants, but it has less caffeine than black tea. You know, kind of know that. Unless you're, of course, drinking matcha, where you're getting 3 times the amount of caffeine as in a cup of coffee. Hey, yay. There are also alternatives to tea. I don't know if you know about rooibos, but rooibos is a plant from South Africa, which has no caffeine at all. It's called red bush there. And it comes in a green, a honeybush, and a regular red. It's processed in a similar way, but it has even more of the health benefits than Camellia sinensis, which is a tea product. So we have 125 different kinds of teas here, and we blend about 45 of them in-house. So anything that you might be interested in, behind me now is about 120 different kinds of herbs and spices, and some of them are medicinal. We're not herbalists. We don't know nothing about the health benefits, but we have a lot of anecdotal evidence and a lot of people that have taught us things that we can share with you. And we can find anything from valerian root, astragalus. If you're looking for something in its natural form and not in a capsule or not processed, we probably have a leaf, a root, or a seed that you're looking for the health benefits, but we kind of ask you to do a little of your own research. But as far as tea goes, that is a half hour show in itself of the 8 major kinds of tea out there. So we'd love to do another meet with you.
That's great. Can you spell rooibos for me?
It's Rooibos, or rooibos.
Okay, got it. I'm picking up all kinds of new terms and new words today, including tongue fill. And with that other thing you said, what was it? L-theanine? How do you spell that?
Is chemical. Like polyphenols, L-theanine is that it's actually used, you'll find sometimes melatonin and L-theanine together in your nighttime gummy to help you sleep. It helps you relax, but it also slows the absorption of caffeine. So that's how you get that nice even buzz.
Good to know. This is very informative. Diane, you've been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.